What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I get my clients to eat what they are supposed to eat so they can lose fat, build muscle, and ultimately build their dream physiques. This is how I get myself to eat what I'm supposed to eat and follow my meal plan and follow my nutrition. So if you're struggling to lose fat, maybe you're stuck, maybe your body is not transforming and you can't figure out how you're supposed to get yourself to follow a meal plan that maybe is boring, maybe you have intense cravings, whatever the case is, this is exactly how you go about that. I'm going to be breaking it down on my computer, so I'll send you over there now. So I have this chart here that I'm going to break down to show you exactly how I get my clients to eat what they're supposed to eat, follow their nutrition, do what they are supposed to do so that they can lose fat, build muscle, and ultimately build their dream physique, improve their health, and be better. So in this chart here, you can see that there are two main reasons as to why anyone ever doesn't want to eat what they're supposed to eat. It really only boils down to two things, and so I'm going to break it down for you. Now, one of them is a pretty easy fix. It's very simple. It takes maybe 5 minutes out of my day to go change it, and it's a easy problem to fix. The other one is a little bit harder and requires slightly more work. So if we look here, you can see one clearly has a lot less steps than the other. And ultimately, the goal is to get the client, we'll assume this is the client here in blue, to success, right? Getting them to stick to their nutrition. And it's not just, me being like, you need to eat this. That's part of it. Like, yes, we need to figure out why, but I've been able to identify the two main reasons here that I'm going to break down for you in the chart and then show you how to fix them so that when you're getting yourself to follow your nutrition plan, you can use these or implement this method to yourself so that you can coach yourself through this essentially. So get ready to take notes if you don't have a pen and pad out already. Take a second to grab that because this is going to help you because it helps all of my clients and I even have to do it for myself as well. So we're going to do the easier one first. Now, let's assume that they don't want to eat a certain meal or a certain thing in their meal plan, or they're struggling to stick to it because they just dislike a food choice. Now, for them, in every one of their check-in submissions, they have the opportunity to request a diet change or to let me know if they're getting tired of something. So we do take the preventative measure to avoid a day where they wake up and they're like, oh, I don't really want this. And then they're kind of put in a compromised position where they're like kind of behind the ball. Now, of course, you need to be disciplined when you know you need to eat what you need to eat. But if it's something you consistently don't like, then we need to make a change or else you're bound to fail at some point. So if you dislike the food choice, find a new preference. This is very simple, but I know a lot of clients come to me and they're like, oh, well, I didn't know that I could have that. I didn't know that I could eat this vegetable instead of that vegetable. I didn't know that I could have potatoes instead of rice or rice instead of bread. Or bread instead of rice. Like, there's no one food that you should be eating and then everything else should be cut out. You shouldn't be doing keto. There's a way to fit everything on this earth, somehow, some way, into your nutrition plan. And people come to me being like, oh, like, I thought I had to eat chicken and broccoli every day. No, you don't. Some rendition of that, sure. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you go out to a restaurant, you probably order some rendition of chicken and carb. So you can find a way to enjoy it. And I don't think a lot of people do that. I think they think it's supposed to be miserable on their diet. So they're like, oh, yeah, this is just what it feels like. Chicken and rice or chicken and broccoli. It's like, nah, the hard part of the diet is sticking to it when you're battling the psychological relief up there that I'm going to show you. Not because you fucking hate the food that you're programming for yourself. That should never be the case. You should never feel that way. That's not discipline. So if you don't like a certain food choice, find a new preference. Now, for my clients, like I said, they have a diet request form that they can just submit. They also have a form that they fill out that's comprised of a bunch of different foods where they put that they like it, they love it, or they fucking hate it, and I better never ever put it in their meal plan. That way I can find the preference for them and then just figure that on their end. But for you, find out what it is that you don't like. Oh, I don't really want to eat this asparagus today. Okay, change it. You know how many days I wake up and normally I'll have pineapple, but today I want oranges or a tangerine or mango. So once we find a new preference, tweak the plan, then it leads to success. So simple, but this is something that I've found myself time and time again having to explain to my clients. So if you're struggling with that, you hate eating the same thing every day, don't think that you have to. You can change it up. And it's actually beneficial for your gut to switch up the foods that you eat. So if you do carbs, you switch up sweet potatoes to rice, and then you switch up your berries to an apple. Like, that is good. You want to diversify your gut microbiome. So it's not a bad thing if you actually do want to vary things. Don't sit here and think that you're doing something wrong because you're constantly making substitutions and switches. Fruit is fruit, protein is protein, fat is fat, carbs are carbs. Like, you just need to understand how to substitute them properly, and then you don't ever have to be chained to a dull meal plan ever again. So that is how you navigate just disliking your food choice. Now let's get into the second reason why most people can't stick to their diet and why majority of them end up not being able to lose fat and get stuck. This is the reason why probably a lot of things are going wrong for a lot of people. But I don't think that most people understand that. You guys know that I'm like big on the psychology of transforming. It's 50% as important as the actual training, nutrition, and the protocols that you set in place. But not many people pay attention to their brain. How is it wired? What do you do? Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you feel the inclination to want this? Why are you craving this? What is it? Because there is a reason. There's a reason for everything. Now, when you eat food, your brain feels dopamine. It's happy. It develops this relationship with food, right? And sometimes, if you're not careful, when you are experiencing a hard time, an uncomfortable emotion, discomfort, pain, stress, the list goes on, your brain will be searching for relief. It will be searching for dopamine. Now, the food is the tricky part here because your brain searches for this relief in other things. Like it can use drugs, it can use alcohol, it can use bad forms of coping to help it with this. But it's easy to deny those because you know, oh, I shouldn't be drinking alcohol. I shouldn't be smoking. I shouldn't be doing this form of self-sabotage. You typically know that you shouldn't do that stuff. So it's easy to be like, oh, okay, my brain, when things are tough and I want psychological relief, I tend to just go have a bunch of drinks with my friends. I tend to just go smoke. I tend to do this. So you can be like, oh, okay, well, I'm just not going to smoke. Or I'm only going to drink whenever it's at a birthday party or a family gathering or, whatever. If you struggle with it like that, Food, on the other hand, isn't something you can be like, I'm quitting food. Can't do that. You cannot do that. Because if you do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot, essentially. Because that exact food that you're trying to be restricting or that you're trying to just say, you know what, I want to lose weight, I'm not going to eat anything, that's the food that you quite literally need as the building blocks to the dream physique. Because your dream physique isn't just seeing the scale rapidly drop. If you go from 150 pounds to 130 pounds and you're just still small and skinny fat or you still look fluffy, are you going to be happy? I was not. So I don't think that you're going to be. You need to be able to utilize food as your best friend, as the greatest tool, as the catalyst for building and crafting that dream physique. But when your brain associates it with psychological relief, you walk a very fine line. So whenever a client comes to me and they're struggling, or maybe they tell me, hey, this week, like I went all off the rails. I couldn't stick to it. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, tell me about one day where you felt like it was really, like you were really struggling. You didn't eat anything close to what you were supposed to be eating. And a lot of the times you can find a stressor, something that happened, maybe something that happened at work. You can identify something that occurred that caused a spike in emotions, that caused something uncomfortable that led for them to begin craving those things. And I can tell you this for a fact because it's happened with me. 9 times out of 10 when I'm craving something, it's because I don't want to feel certain emotions because I'm having a tough day. Oh, I really, really want my comfort food. I really, really want donuts. I really, really want a kolache. I really, really want burgers and fries. But at the end of the day, I really want that thing because I had a tough time, because I did something hard, because I'm going through something. So when you are feeling a craving for something and you're like, oh, I really want fast food right now, this is what you need to do. You need to question yourself and say, what happened and why do I want this? And you're going to be like, oh, I just want a burger and nothing happened. I just had a tough day at work. No. Explain that. Force yourself to say it. Ask yourself, what happened today? Oh, today was just a really hard day. Like I didn't know if that meeting was going to go well. I didn't know if I was going to do well under the pressure that I'm having from my boss. I didn't know if my presentation was going to go as planned. And it really caused me to feel stressed. All day I was stressed and I just felt like I had absolutely no control or energy left in me at the end of the day when it came to food. And I just want something to make me feel better. I just want something that is going to just take all the pain away, and I just want to be able to have like a burger and fries and like a milkshake, and I want to take the fries and I want to dip them in the milkshake and I want to get bacon on it. Now that craving that you're going to have is going to be strong. It's going to be strong. But I say this often, you need to be able to separate yourself into two people, almost as if you're playing a video game. One of you is holding the controller, the other of you is going through the levels. The one with the controller, it knows the last level, the goal, it knows where you want to go. It knows the map. It knows the way of the game. It knows how it thinks. It knows human nature. And then the you in the game is experiencing the stress, is feeling things, is the human being, is the one that's battling the laziness, the cravings, all that stuff. You have to be able to identify within yourself, hey, I'm feeling this intense craving. I'm really fucking hungry. I'm having a lot of food noise. Like, I'm so stressed. You need to be able to be like, whoa, like, hold on. I feel this. I know what's going on. I know I'm not going to feel better. And I know that after I eat that meal, I'm probably not going to feel the best. I'm probably going to be bloated, and I'm mentally probably not going to feel well because that meal isn't going to solve anything. It's not going to make you feel less stress. It's not going to help you navigate the situation that you went through today. While it may seem like, oh, I just had this really intense craving, I deserve it. You have to understand how your brain is wired. You have to understand that. Because you essentially are an animal. You can be trained. And when you feel that inclination and you just give it to yourself and you're not even aware that you're training your brain and wiring it to be that way, it's going to be really hard to battle it on your weight loss journey. And then you're going to be like, oh, it's just not meant for me. Everyone else is just more disciplined and I guess I'm just unlucky. Like, no, that's not what it is. You're not unlucky. It's just you don't understand how the human brain works and why you want the things that you do and why you feel these intense cravings. So you just give in because you don't know how to battle it. And then now your brain thinks, oh, okay, every time we have a stressful day, we can go to food. We can binge. We can go have whatever we want. And then your brain is going to start feeling stressed. And then it's going to be like, oh, food, 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 food. And this is how people become overweight. This is how you gain an excess amount of fat. This is how you accrue more fat on your body. And this is what leads to struggles with weight and struggles with fat loss and struggles with even obesity at points. So the next time you feel that craving, you need to be able to identify that this process is happening in your mind and that you cannot give in. You cannot give in until you've navigated this problem, until you understand this about yourself and that your brain wants food for psychological relief. That's when you can be like, oh, okay, like I have the confidence and the control of myself to know that, oh yeah, like I can have this burger and fries. I'm not telling you that you can never have a cheat meal, but I'm telling you, you need to understand yourself, how your brain is wired, and what is going to happen once you do the things that you do. So after you establish what had happened to lead you to have that craving and why you're craving that thing, what emotionally is driving you to want that relief, ask yourself, will this meal fix the problem? That stress that is on your shoulders at work, that you're trying to complete this big project and you have this big deadline and you're really stressed about it, is this meal that you're about to have going to make that all go away? Is it going to finish the project for you? Is it going to push the deadline back to give you more time? Is it going to just make the problems disappear? Absolutely not. Is it going to feel good in the moment when you're eating it? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Abso-fucking-lutely. But you know what happens the minute that you're done? You want more. You want something else. Because it didn't take away the problem. So you're eating your burger and fries and then you're like, oh, I need a dessert. You look for a dessert and you eat that dessert. And maybe you just go on this rampage and it's like, it's because the problem is not being fixed. The stress is still there, but you want that instant dopamine rush. And then once you decide to be like, okay, I'm full, or maybe your stomach can't handle anymore, you're like, oh, well, now I feel like shit. Well, now I feel guilty. Shouldn't have done that. Damn. Now I'm bloated. Now I'm going to have brain fog tomorrow. Now I'm not going to sleep good. I'm going to wake up and my stomach's going to hurt because I ate a bunch of processed junk food, or I went out and I had fast food and it doesn't agree with my stomach, especially if you've been on a meal plan or you're trying to eat better and you're trying to just improve your health. Typically the foods that you would use as a dopamine hit or psychological relief are adverse to the goals that you're trying to achieve with your health. Because I don't know anyone who is like utilizing whole foods to give themselves psychological relief. It's usually like those cheat meals that we go for, that comfort food. I want to reiterate again, I am not saying that you cannot have a cheat meal. I am not saying that you cannot enjoy food. I'm not saying that you cannot use food as something that makes you happy. But I'm saying when you use food to hide from your problems, to relieve stress, it's not going to work, and it's probably going to make you more stressed in the long run because you're going to start getting overweight. You're going to start getting fat. You're going to be less confident in yourself. You're going to probably also crash your health. So once you're able to identify that this meal won't fix your problem and that going off track won't make you feel better, I want you to think of something that you could replace this with. Like, okay, I really feel stressed today. Let me go on a walk. Now, naturally, it's going to be fucking hard. Like, your brain's not going to want to do that. You're going to want 30,000 donuts. But all you have to do is force yourself to do it a handful of times before your brain begins to rewire. And it's like, wait, we have a lot of stress and we go for a walk and we get some sunlight and we're able to actually think while we're walking and kind of navigate the stressful situation we're going through, and we're kind of able to calm ourselves down because we went on a walk and we had some time to think, and we didn't run from the problem, but rather we said we're stressed and we faced it head on and we figured it out and it's really not as bad as I thought. That is how you navigate that stressful situation when you're craving psychological relief. Because I'm not saying you just have to be in like psychological warfare and just suffer all day, but the right way to do it is to figure out the problem, coach yourself through it, and lead yourself. Not just go throw a band-aid on it by eating, or let's say maybe you drink or you smoke or whatever, and just pushing the pain down. You're just pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually it's going to explode. Eventually you're going to hit a point that feels like rock bottom, and you're like, holy fuck, how did I let myself get here? How did I let myself go this much? And it's because every time something got difficult, you didn't want to face it head on. You didn't want to help coach yourself through the problem, lead yourself through the problem, and instead you coped. Like I said, it's important to still give yourself the actual psychological relief. It's just 9 times out of 10 not what you're going to want to do. Like, you're not going to want to journal, you're not going to want to meditate, you're not going to want to do some diaphragmatic deep breaths, you're not going to want to go on a walk. I'm going to tell you right now, or maybe you go on a run, maybe you go for a swim, you're not going to want to do that shit. You're going to want the burger. You're going to want something to make it go away instantly. But a part of this is building mental strength, training your brain, being like, hey, I could have a stressful ass day at work, and it doesn't mean that I need to run to food to comfort me. It doesn't mean that I need to go off my plan. It doesn't mean that I need to sacrifice the goals that I have for my future self in this moment because I had a stressful day. It just doesn't. And every day when you teach yourself that, hey, we can handle stress by going on a walk, by doing these things that not only make us feel better, but help us actually work through and navigate the problem instead of pushing it down, that we are able to build mental strength. That is mental strength. And when you achieve that level of self-control, the ability to lead yourself through adversity, lead yourself through the moments where you feel like you just want to do everything but what you're supposed to, that is the only way that you can make changes to your physique, lose fat, build muscle, and keep it and be healthier and have that be your lifestyle. It's easy to do the fad diets. It's easy to do these very restrictive, tons of cardio, tons of training things, but eventually you are going to crack because that is still some form of pushing it down. Eventually you're going to hit a point where that psychological relief is just impeding on you, and eventually it breaks because you're not addressing it. You're just pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. So when you feel a craving for something, analyze, why do I feel this way? And again, if you're just like, oh, I just really want a burger today, absolutely no reason that you cannot fit that into your nutrition plan. Absolutely no reason. Oh, I'm just in the mood to have XYZ today. I want some chicken tenders. I want this. I want that. That can fit into your nutrition plan to some degree. But when you are feeling like you really want a certain food or a certain thing, you need to be able to identify, do I just dislike what I'm eating? Or am I searching for psychological relief? Am I going through something? Is something difficult for me? Are there things that I'm not saying to myself? Are there things that I'm not admitting? So when you feel yourself straying from your nutrition and you do not know why it is you want to go off plan, why you feel the things that you do, why you can't get yourself to eat what you're supposed to eat, you need to be able to identify, do I just dislike this thing? Or is there something that runs deeper? Because if it runs deeper, I promise you it will pop up somewhere else at another time later, and it's probably going to be a much bigger problem. In order to have the ability to lead yourself where you want to be, you must first know yourself. Know what you do. How do you operate? What is your brain inclined to do? Because that is specific to you. Once you know yourself, you can train yourself and begin to lead yourself. If you cannot lead yourself, don't ever expect to get results. And that is everything that I have for you today, guys. If you want me to coach you through this and build this out for you and help you build your dream physique, I will leave the application in the description of this video. If you're a good fit and spots are available, I will personally be reaching out to you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. I will link my Instagram in the description, and I will get back to you with a voice message. I love you guys so much. Do not forget to do hard shit and be confident, but most importantly, don't forget how much I'm rooting for you. I know this shit is hard. I know it feels like psychological warfare sometimes. I know actual training, nutrition, all that stuff. I know it is hard. But another thing that I know is that you can do it. Go get after it. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching.